are in Belfast, and this is the Titanic Museum, and it looks fantastic. And we're going to go in there for a visit and then maybe have a tour of the city later on. And there are a lot. Yeah, the Titanic was called SS 401.
That was its Harland and Wolff name.
Yeah, that was its code name.
And this is the slipway where it was constructed. Double slipway. Its sister ship was built on the other side, I believe.
So that's the slipway that it would have gone right down.
It was built, it was constructed here.
And on this, at the back of this, is where I just filmed the wall with all the names of those who died.
You did, abs.
And it's really fitting that this is built here.
Yes.
Like a giant Titanic.
Indeed, my love. Indeed. We're standing in 401, and I think the sister ship over there might be 402. Remember the thing I was dropping the steel plate in?
Yeah, inside the museum.
That was represented this.
Yeah, yeah. So they've left in the big construction poles just to illustrate really where the ship was.
I like that.
We're going to visit the Nomadic, which is the last remaining White Star vessel.
A lot of what we have on board, and a lot more than you would expect, is original. And this was handcrafted examples of what Harland were producing at the time. A lot of it, of course, earmarked for the liners. They simply fitted it out here to give it that same continuity of appearance.
So as we go towards the front of the boat, it becomes less and less ornate because this is second class down here. It still smells old, doesn't it? Wow, you can actually see the side of the ship with all the rivets. So that was the Nomadic, a small but important little boat. I think it is so hot now, the sun is out, it's absolutely beautiful. We're going to go on a lovely tour to Belfast with this lovely gentleman here who's going to tell us all about it.
Yeah, UFF.
Wow.
It's not also the Fans Association, UFF, it's also Freedom Fighters back in the 80s, mid-80s, early 90s. Peace process was starting to develop.
Ulster flags and all that on all the buildings. This is the courthouse, and if I pan round across the street, this was the jail, the Crumlin Road jail. Famous or infamous Shankill Road. Well, this is a great tour we're having from this brilliant taxi driver from Belfast.
Yes.
And this is the Peace Hall. It kind of doesn't feel very peaceful. It still feels quite intimidating. There's wire. I mean, how tall is that? This is the famous Peace Wall.
Feel the love.
People from all over the world come here to sign this wall, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. It's really, really long and really high. Stops. This is where the peace talks started happening. This place is amazing. So beautiful. This is another mural, a memorial to Bobby Sands. That's the H Block prison. And there's actually Michael Collins. This is the main city hall in Belfast. It's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful place. And it used to be, when there was the Troubles, this was all fenced off and you couldn't go through there, but it's really different, really vibrant, it's lovely. It is absolutely brilliant here today. It's happy, there's music, it's beautiful. What a great tour we've had. Amazing. So, what have you thought of our trip to Belfast?
Loved it so far, have you not?
Really great, really great. Belfast now, really vibrant, safe city, well worth a visit. It says leaving Belfast and we're going to head west to Donegal. This morning we're heading to Donegal via Ballyshannon and the coastal route, and we're going to go across an island called Boa Island. This is the first causeway road we're going to cross, and this is onto one of the first islands, Boa Island. It's really great. And this is Loch Earn on my left, and it will also be on my right, but we can't see for the trees. It's absolutely enormous, this loch. So this is the little town of Belfast, and it is right on the border between Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland. Unfortunately, we can't use our TomTom anymore because we'll be leaving Northern Ireland and going into Southern Ireland. So Belfast is actually a bigger town than I imagined it to be. Wow, look at that. That's enormous.
Oh, it's really nice, that. Look at that. Yeah, that's
Over
brilliant.
the river. Here we are at Merva Beach, and we're parked right here. I'm going to go for a long walk for the beach and try and go round to there and back down through the forest. So we've got some sand dunes before we get to the beach. I might not be able to narrate because it's very windy today, so it might be just some pictures. Oh, it looks really amazing. So we walked right along the beach right out to the point. Wind behind us, so that was great, and we're walking back via the trees because it's so windy out there. Oh, this is a really nice walk back through the little woodland. I'm completely out of the wind and the rain. Here he comes.
This is a very pleasant walk.
Very pleasant. We can hear the wind above us, but there's none here under the trees. It's great.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us about what's happening here, please?
We left our campsite this morning, which was just a bit north of Enniskillen, and then we headed north to Boa Island and went across a couple of bridges over onto the island, actually 2 islands. And then when we left Boa Island, we went to Ballyshannon. I won't talk about Ballyshannon, but we didn't stop. So we left Ballyshannon and we've carried on up this lovely coastal path called the Wild West.
I think I've seen a movie about that.
Anyway, we've ended up here at Merva Beach. Unfortunately, it's a bit wet and rainy today, windy and all the weather you can think of. So we walked right along the beach almost to the headland and then back through the woodland. And now we're going to get back to the van and head north yet again to who knows where.
Thank you, that was
Here
good.
we are in Donegal, and this is the old castle bar. And round the corner we have the castle, which we're going to go and have a look at. And this beautiful church as well. The Church of Ireland. Not sure if the castle is open today on a Sunday, but we'll see what we can do.
When we came through, you'll notice the walls of the castle are very thick. In the thickest parts of the castle, these walls extend to a width of 3 meters or 10 feet of solid stone, so strong enough to defend against the enemy. You'll also notice it's very dark in this room because the windows are very narrow. There's one behind me and one to the left here as well. You'll find that the windows are angled, giving an archer a wide view to shoot out, but a very narrow opening on the outside, preventing the enemy from shooting in.
Now, this room here, as I mentioned, is our banqueting hall. Did anyone take a quick peek at the room on your way out?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that room is called the garderobe. And if you take the word garderobe, it literally means protect clothes. They left their clothing in that room. But aside from that, there's a small inner chamber inside the garderobe containing a very simple stone seat that served as a toilet. A tunnel carved right through the thick castle walls would have taken the waste directly out to the river below. Now, the reason they left their clothing in that room was because they believed that the ammonia which wafted from the waste had disinfectant properties to kill the lice and bacteria in their clothing. So, a form of medieval dry cleaning. As I said, here is our banqueting hall, and the Brooke family made several changes, the most notable of which is the size of the windows. Gone are the small defensive windows of the 15th century, replaced with these large mullion bay windows. Now, these windows are also a status symbol. Now, the Brooke family spent 12 years in total modernizing this tower and building the manor house, but in the end, they only lived here for 60 years.
That was a good little tour. So this was the additional mansion house that was built onto the castle. It's a complete ruin now. We left Donegal and we're heading to St John's Point, and this is a finger of land that pokes out into the sea. So this is St John's Point, and it's pretty special. It is so pretty. So this is Killybeg Harbour, and it's really huge. Didn't expect this. This is our campsite at Killybeg, and that's our view from the van. Absolutely brilliant. Nearly 8 o'clock at night. The sun has come out at last, and it's time just to settle up for the night.